The Miller farm breathed with the rhythm of generations, a living testament to quiet endurance etched into the vast Nebraska landscape. As dawn broke, the world emerged from darkness like a watercolor painting slowly coming to life. Soft amber wheat fields blending into pale golden skies, dew-kissed grass sparkling with the first light of day. Jake Miller stood at the threshold between the farmhouse and the endless fields, a young man caught between two worlds. At 19, he embodied the complex contradiction of rural American youth, strong and weathered from farm work, yet harboring dreams that stretched far beyond the horizon of wheat and corn. The farmhouse was a sprawling structure that had witnessed over a century of family history. Built by his great-grandfather in 1897, it bore the marks of countless harvests, harsh winters, and generational struggles. Wooden floors creaked with memories. Walls whispered stories of triumph and survival. Photographs lined the hallway. Stern-faced ancestors posed stiffly, their eyes revealing the same restless spirit Jake felt burning inside himself. His mother, Elizabeth Miller, was already in the kitchen, her movements a well-choreographed dance of morning preparation. She was a petite woman with hands that told stories of hard work, fingers slightly crooked from years of manual labor, yet still capable of incredible gentleness. Her brown hair, now streaked with silver, was pulled back in a practical bun, a style unchanged for decades. "Jake," she called, her voice carrying the warmth of freshly baked bread. "Breakfast's almost ready." In his bedroom, Jake was lost in another world. The room was a careful balance between farm practicality and hidden dreams. Farm equipment repair manuals sat alongside surfing magazines. A battered toolbox was placed next to a carefully maintained surfboard, a used board he'd saved for months to purchase, which had never touched actual ocean water. The surfing poster that dominated his wall was more than just an image. It was a window to another life, captured in perfect motion. A surfer rode an impossibly massive wave, balanced between absolute control and wild surrender. Jake had memorized every detail of that poster, tracing the curve of the wave, the surfer's posture, imagining himself in that moment of perfect harmony with nature. Surrounding the poster were his own sketches, intricate drawings of waves, surfing techniques, coastal landscapes. Each sketch was a prayer, a manifesto of a life waiting to be lived. Thomas Miller's heavy footsteps approached, breaking Jake's reverie. His father was a man carved from the same earth he farmed, tall, broad-shouldered, with hands like leather and eyes that could assess a field's potential with a single glance. "Jake!" Thomas's voice was not a call, but a summons. It carried the weight of family expectation, generations of farming tradition. Breakfast was a ritual of unspoken tensions. The kitchen smelled of fresh bread, bacon, and black coffee, a quintessential farm breakfast that could fuel a day of hard labor. "Wheat prices are dropping," Thomas muttered, more to himself than to anyone else. "We'll need to optimize our crop rotation this year." Jake nodded, a practiced response that meant nothing and everything. His mind was elsewhere, on the postcard from his best friend Sarah, showing the sun-drenched beaches of California. The image was almost mythical to him, a world so different from the flat, predictable landscape of Nebraska. Sarah Rodriguez was another dreamer. Her parents were Mexican immigrants who had found their place in this small farming community. She wanted to be a journalist, to tell stories that mattered, to break free from small-town limitations. They had been friends since childhood, united by their shared desire to escape. "I'm thinking of taking a break," Jake said suddenly, the words hanging in the air like an unexpected thunderstorm. His father's fork stopped midway to his mouth. The silence was thick with unspoken history. "A break?" Thomas's voice was calm, which made it more dangerous. "From what?" "This is our life, Jacob. Our legacy." Elizabeth watched the exchange, her eyes moving between her husband and son. She understood both the weight of tradition that Thomas represented and the boundless dreams that Jake embodied. Outside, the farm was awakening. Chickens pecked at the ground, cows moved lazily in their pastures, and the distant tractor hummed, a constant background to rural life. But for Jake, these sounds were becoming increasingly alien, like a language he was forgetting how to speak. His connection to the land was complex. He respected the farm, understood its rhythms, knew how to coax life from seemingly impossible soil. But he didn't feel rooted here. His soul longed for something more fluid, more dynamic, something like the waves he'd only seen in magazines and dreams. As the morning progressed, Jake worked alongside his father, mending fences, checking irrigation systems. Each movement was precise, each task completed with the efficiency of someone who knew this life intimately. But his eyes constantly drifted to the horizon, searching for something undefined. By afternoon, the heat was intense. Wheat fields shimmered like a golden ocean, creating an ironic parallel to the real ocean Jake had never seen. Sweat traced paths down his muscular back, a testament to farm work that had prepared his body for challenges he didn't yet understand. Sarah arrived in her beat-up pickup truck, a cloud of dust announcing her presence before the vehicle itself. She was wearing journalist's khakis, looking slightly out of place in the rural landscape. "Still dreaming?" she asked, her voice a mixture of teasing and genuine understanding. Jake smiled, a gesture both weary and hopeful. Always, they sat on the fence, watching the wheat move like a living entity, each lost in thoughts of escape and possibility. Sarah understood Jake's dreams better than anyone. She saw beyond the farm boy exterior to the restless spirit beneath. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in impossible oranges and purples, Jake felt something shifting. The farm that had been his entire world was becoming too small, its boundaries too restrictive. He didn't know how, he didn't know when, but Jake Miller was going to find his wave. And when he did, nothing would ever be the same.